Hey, what's up everybody? This is Chicken Possible with Rewards Hunter, back with part 5 of the Return to Grace series. So this is the series where we work on unlocking all of the achievements in this game, previously for a bunch of Microsoft Rewards points, but I think probably most everybody has seen by now that I am working on retiring the channel because achievements are no longer needed for any sort of rewards points. They're all super simple these days. So anyway, this is going to be my last video, at least for a while. If you haven't watched parts 1 through 4, those will be linked in the description so you can get caught up and grab all the achievements that we've previously grabbed in those 4 parts. And we're going to be grabbing the last 12 achievements today in this video. And I am going to pull up the achievement tracker here real fast. So we've got 12 achievements left in the game. You should be at 23 out of 35 achievements so far. And the very last one that we got in part 4 was how many wishes do I get? So, like I said, we're going to go ahead and get those next 12 today and finish up the game. So let's go ahead and start our game, and we're going to use save slot 1 as we have been doing. So that should be at the lighthouse. And let's go ahead and activate Grace. Why not, right? Let's get the good ending to this game. So the first thing we're going to do is use the lever on our right that's on this console here. So that's going to pull down this circular object from the ceiling. And we're going to go over and take a look at this and find out what this is. And we'll see that there's a cavity on the side, so make sure you examine that.
Ripped out. Don't suppose Everett crawled in here.
So this is apparently how Everett got up to the sort of Grace control center by riding on this thing. So that is what we're going to do here now. Control is still trying to block us from getting the good ending, so he's going to tell us to go over and press a button on the console. Of course, we're not going to do that. We're always avoiding, in this first playthrough, what Control wants us to do. He wants us to take a more negative route, but we're going to look for the positive route here, and we're going to activate Grace and get the good ending. So do not press the button on the console. We're going to use the lever, rather, and then we're going to come back here and climb into the cavity. So look back to the console first, which is on our right. Again, do not press that button on the left. We're going to use the lever on the right. And then we're going to very quickly move back over to where we were and climb into the cavity so that we can ride this thing up into the control center.
I need to know.
Keep your hands inside at all times, Abby.
So right here, we're going to get the I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore achievement. And that, of course, is a reference to The Wizard of Oz. So let's press B to exit the cavity. And we've got a lot of different platforms to jump across in this area. There is only one path to get to the central area, though, so don't worry about going the wrong path. If you can jump to the platform, then that's the one you need to jump to. So as soon as this dialogue finishes, we're going to start jumping across and make our way over to the central platform.
Have the ability to move the structure.
Sorry about this, Mom. I don't think I have many options here.
And don't worry about any of the platforms moving or anything. That's not going to happen until we activate Grace, really.
All these wish canisters are connected to us somehow.
So just keep jumping across here. Again, there's only one path that you can take, so don't worry about going the wrong way. Just keep working your way towards the central column.
It would make sense, wouldn't it, that grace would be made from the hopes and dreams of humanity?
All right, so this is our last jump to get over here.
I do not detect any sign of Everett here.
No dead body?
There are no.
So we're going to have a green light that's going to be flashing first for us here, and we're going to be able to examine this and find out about the machine that Everett set up here.
What's all this?
It appears Everett has built something into Grace's central processor.
This must be where all those missing parts from the spire have gone. Do you know what it does?
You would have to turn it on before we begin to understand how it works.
So let's examine the generator here.
It is.
And we're going to start priming the generator. So pretty much all you're going to have to do here is just keep holding down your left thumbstick. You don't really have to pull it individually. You can just keep holding it down, and Addie will keep priming as she can. And for each one of these, there are 3 generators. This is the first of the 3 generators. For each one of these, there are going to be 3 little lights that light up next to it as we prime each one. So you kind of have to do 3 sets of 3 primes to get it all done. So nine primes total for each of these 3. So let's just keep priming here. This is our second set on this generator. So we've got the second green light now, and let's keep priming.
What happened?
One of the empathy relays.
So we actually don't get the third green light here because of the misalignment. So go over to this side where you see the white bulb up above.
Look for the misaligned energy beam.
Do you think it will hurt?
And then we'll be able to jump across. And actually want to jump right here. So we're heading towards this green beam that's misaligned, and we're going to fix that.
What if I don't like being Grace? It will be different. But who's to say you won't like it?
So let's examine the beam here. Pal is going to turn off the electricity for us so that we can walk across. And you'll have to walk across and, of course, do some balancing. We always have to balance on the balance beam, don't we, in this game? So we'll have to do that again, and then we will be able to jump down and fix the beam. Kind of reposition it so that it goes to the right place.
This means to you, and I really don't see any other way.
I'll give you enough time to get there, Addie.
You're not gonna talk me out of this, Mom?
I think you already know what you're going to do. I think I need to stay out of your way.
Okay, I'm ready when you are.
So we'll press A to cross it once Pal turns the electricity off.
How you doing, pal?
And then we'll have to do our balancing right here, of course. So just keep the hands balanced like you have in the past, and we'll be able to get the rest of the way across.
You have to hold on, pal.
So let's keep stepping forward. You'll hear a little bit of the theremin in the background here. I love that. They included that in this kind of final music section. All right, let's jump down to where the beam is here, and then we will reposition that and fix it.
Yes, well done.
So let's examine the beam,
Is it safe to touch?
Very likely.
Likely we'll have
and then
to
we'll
do, I
use
guess.
it. We're going to reposition the beam with our right thumbstick and push it towards that glowing ball right there. And that will fix up everything for us. We'll get the Don't Cross the Streams achievement here, which is a reference to Ghostbusters.
It was really cool doing things with you, even if some of it was a little boring.
Thanks.
And then we can turn to our right and take this path back over to the central structure.
Perhaps there is something you can learn from Addie's caution.
I guess, but then you'll always wonder what you might have missed out on.
There is nothing wrong with valuing a long, comfortable life.
Do we really have to become Grace?
It's the way we were designed, pal. There's nothing to be afraid of.
All right, so once we get back over here, we're going to cross over to the green switch again, and we're going to go ahead and throw this lever now that all 3 of the lights are lit up on top successfully. And that's going to turn off the empathy of the system and all of the personalities, all of the different AI personalities that were related to empathy. So those are all going to disappear at this point. So that means Pal's gone, that means Mom's gone, that means empathy's gone. So go ahead and raise this switch. And those are going to be ready to combine with the other AIs. Let's go over to the blue generator, and we're going to start priming this one and turning off some of the other personalities. So just keep holding down on the left thumbstick again, and the lights will light up. We're going to have some fixing to do on this one as well.
The fact that you continually resisted the most direct route to your goal would appear to defy logic. But the distractions presented by these emotional configurations yielded some new understandings.
Are you okay with becoming Grace?
It is how we were designed. I would have to be okay with it.
What this time?
One of the logic relays will not power.
So let's go across to the area where we see the smoke, and we're going to start jumping across over here to fix that. And it's actually a little bit to the right of this position. So there we
One thing
go.
I do not understand, Addy, is why come all this way without any intention of returning home or surviving on this station for more than 8 hours?
I told this to Mom.
So just keep jumping across until we get to that smoky section there, and we'll fix that relay. So this one has a little override panel like the one we used on the ladder last time. So let's...
The relay's dip switch has reset. It will need to be configured to its hardware ID 113.
So let's open up this override, and we're going to flip some switches in here to get to the number 113. So we're going to flip the first switch, the second switch, and the third switch, and then we're going to go all the way over to the right and flip switch number 7, and that'll take us to 113.
You can go lock in logic now.
We'll get the when we fix something, it stays fixed achievement right there, which is a reference to the movie Alien. And then we're going to go back the way we came to get back to the center platform.
Do you think I found that?
So far, you've only succeeded in finding things you left behind. Your mum, your pal, your conscience. I now understand that only Grace has the potential to provide you with anything beyond that.
Well, thanks for helping me get this far.
Well, it is, indeed, what we are here for.
So let's go back over to the blue switch now, and we'll throw that one, and we're going to turn off all of the logic personalities. So we're saying goodbye to Logic and Jack at this point.
Farewell, Addy. And for the record, I do hope your 600 million mile, 300-day journey won't be for naught.
Perhaps it's already been worth it. Just you and me, Control.
All right, now we're going to go over to the red one, and we need to prime here. So let's press A and then start pulling the priming lever with our left thumbstick again. And this one we're actually not going to have to fix. This one just works right off the bat, so all 3 red lights are going to light up immediately when we do all of our priming. And that saves us a little time. No fixing needed here.
You must not do this, Addy.
So we get all 3 red lights, and we can go ahead and start working on throwing the final lever here to turn off Control, but Control is going to fight us with this switch, so you need to keep tapping A at different spots in this whenever it appears at the lower right corner. So just keep tapping the A button to get this one eventually thrown. So it does take a minute and quite a few taps of the A button, but eventually you'll get it.
I'm saving you from Everett's corrupting influence.
He was just trying to bring Grace back.
I thought you were here to help humankind. You are ensuring their ongoing ruin.
So we're defeating the final boss by tapping the A button here. Love it.
No!
Grace?
Yes, Addy.
All right, so we'll get the It's Alive achievement right here for activating Grace. That is a reference to the classic movie Frankenstein. I think that's the oldest one that gets referenced in this game, if I'm not mistaken.
Though I should say I do.
And we've activated Grace at this point, so we're going to ride the antenna up to the top.
I'd like to know that, yes.
Let me show you, Addy. At the center of this room is the spire's main antenna. If you hold on, I can take you the rest of the way.
So let's press A to ascend. And this is pretty much going to finish the game for us. This is, like I mentioned, the good ending of the game where we activate Grace. So we've got 2 more achievements coming up for this ending.
The sum of those teachings.
The wishes.
I am the sum of human need.
How are you able to lead us?
I could see all desire, all the potential conflict, all points of compromise throughout the solar system. I sent instructions for all manner of human endeavor through sermons delivered by keepers throughout the ages. And from the smallest ripples of wisdom that were sent from this spire, returned a perpetual wave of good fortune that moved humanity onto a more orderly path.
Wow. Look at that.
So we get an awesome view of Jupiter from up here.
Sounds like things were perfect.
Ah, yes. Perfect. It was the wishes that led me to think hard about the notion of perfect. Without conflict and struggle, people were losing their desire. They had nothing to overcome, to strive for.
You shut yourself down.
I believed I was standing in your way.
So you will be leaving again.
These beacons are meant to call humanity back to me. But whether or not they should is not my choice to make.
Who chooses then?
You, Addie, are the first keeper to grace this spire in the past.
So we see the beacons come up at this point, and Grace is reactivated. We find out that she shut herself down so that humanity could continue to progress and not become stagnant, I guess might be how I would say it.
I believe it still suits you.
But anyway, she's reactivated now, so I guess humans might start coming here again.
An insatiable curiosity drives you to explore. You took the time to listen to the voices of so many who traveled here. You used mind over ladder. And you play the theremin. Wonderful.
So I think that's a nice touch there. She mentioned a bunch of the little tasks and achievements that we were able to accomplish in that first playthrough, like playing the theremin and listening to all the wishes and everything.
System had come here to tell me their desires. So, I put it to you, Addie. Do you wish for me to return?
All right, so we should get the hardest choices require the strongest wills achievement there, which is a reference to Avengers Infinity War. Thanos actually said that. So do not skip the credits right here. You want to watch the credits, and they're actually not that long. It's actually only about 1 minute of credits. So after the credits, there's a secret scene where we get to see what happens with Alan, which is the original AI you probably remember that was on board our ship that we talked to in the beginning, and then one time in part 4. So he's going to give us one more achievement, or we get one more achievement for seeing his ending. So just sit here with the credits for about a minute, and then we will see what happens with Alan. All right, so here's the Alan scene.
Small excursion, she said. Follow a couple leads and then back to the books. I know I should be more assertive. It's for her safety, too. Not that she ever thinks about my safety. All the signs were there at the Wagner site. Let me bake in the Mercury sun for 2 days. Doesn't seem so bad now. She could have at least shut the door behind her.
All right, so here's the give her another 20 minutes, but that's it achievement for witnessing Alan's fate. So that will take us back to the main menu automatically because we're finished with that playthrough. So we have got 6 of the 12 achievements that we're going to get in part 5 here. So we need to go back in our other save slots and grab just a few more. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and click Start Game again, and this time we're going to load up slot 2, which is still in the control room. So we're going to be backtracking quite a bit here and starting from the control room, and this time we're going to work on getting the bad ending. We did the good ending the first time around, so now we're going to be pursuing the bad ending, which gets us 3 more of the achievements out of 6. So let's spin around and we'll go back to the security panel by the door here, and we're going to light up the square of lights in the center here.
You'll need to light up 9 buttons.
So this second playthrough is going to be faster than our first playthrough, and we're going to have a lot less examining to do. So it sounds like a lot of rework, which it is a bit, but like I said, it's going to get us some of the achievements that we need. And we're not going to be examining nearly as many things in this second playthrough, so we'll save a little bit of time that way too.
Who you are, and you can call me Addie.
I will refer to you as
So we'll just light up those 9 buttons in the center to make a square, and we're going to proceed onto the lift.
So what exactly are you?
The station's emergency server had defaulted to Grace's original logic processing. That's me, as you've suggested. The server can also run a program dedicated to the control of infrastructure, and a third system dedicated solely to empathizing with...
So let's go ahead and press the button here to activate the lift. And this is basically getting to the moment when we first meet Control in the game. So you can probably guess that the bad ending is done by following all of Control's directions throughout the game. So this is the first time when he starts to give us some directions, and we need to basically obey and kind of follow along with him throughout the playthrough in order to get that bad ending. So we're going to head outside of the lift here, and Control is going to meet with us just here in a second.
I can't imagine the effort it would have taken to redirect an asteroid that big. We don't do anything like that today. Can you open this?
With some difficulty. I will need to direct power from logic to control processing, and I will not function at the same cognitive level until full power is restored.
What do you mean, at the same level?
Good luck, Addie.
You still there?
Where would I have gone?
You sound a little different.
Just strong.
So you may remember the first time we went through this, we did some examining in this room, and we kind of disobeyed Control a little bit. So instead of doing that, here we're just going to obey, and we're going to go straight across to prime the generators that he asks us to prime. So no additional examination needed. We're just going to go ahead and get everything set up for him.
Alrighty.
So head across here to the first generator, and we're going to prime this one as we did last time.
Failsafe of including human hands in the operation of this station.
And then we'll prime generator number 2.
Processor?
Indeed, we are all part of Grace, aspects of her infinite power, shadows of what was,
And then number 3 as well.
what will be. I was the light that shone in the darkness. I was the hand that divided the firmament. The turbine has failed us.
That's not good.
I must call
So let's head back over to the little lift and call it, and then we can go down and release the latches on the turbine down here.
to it now.
Alright.
And as we get into the turbine section, you want to make sure that you're moving efficiently. You know, don't just leave it sitting here or anything. You want to make sure you're progressing and doing this fairly quickly, because if you take too long here, he can get frustrated with you, and we don't want Control to be at all frustrated during this playthrough. We want to, you know, do everything that he needs us to do. So again, just make sure that you are doing everything efficiently here and not dilly-dallying or, you know, taking too much time.
Magnetic crane.
You're sure I'll be able to fix this?
So let's head back up the lift, and we are going to go back up to the crane like we did last time, and we'll do exactly the same thing with the crane. Again, just make sure you're doing it, you know, as quickly as you can, and don't waste a bunch of time in this section, because we don't want to hear those words of frustration from him. That could mess up our achievement. So we're going to hop into the controls here
Cast out the old
and hoist the old turbine by holding down the A button once we can.
Cast aside the wretched unit.
We'll bring it up and then drop it into the empty container at the bottom left. Again, use that light to kind of guide your position of the crane.
Now you shall place the new turbine.
And we'll get the new turbine, hoist it, and then take it over to the spot where it belongs. And we'll hoist it down into that position when we can. And once you've done that, as long as you haven't heard those words of frustration from Control, you should be in good shape. So we will be able to continue on and keep working on our bad ending achievement. And there are 2 other achievements that we'll get along the way as we're working towards that.
Behold my power.
What's happened?
I am reborn. Humanity will once again.
So that's really the only time-sensitive section like that. So
Processing has not combined.
we'll just keep progressing on as normal. No more rush at this point.
Just calling to someone. Do you know whoever it is?
No. With power restored, my mind.
So we'll head back up to the lift,
But I could not tell you whoever it is.
and we'll take that back up so that we can get to the next security door.
Return to your vessel and spread word of my
And we're going to be
return.
going back into the Zen Garden section after this. You'll remember that section from last time.
All must know.
I've hijacked the volume control. I don't feel like this is going to be a short commandment. We'll see how long before he notices.
It took me nearly a year to get here. I want to know if Grace can be brought back.
There is more complex to explore if you head back to the control room through which you entered. We should determine where in the megastructure my central processors are located. Perhaps along the way you may learn more about this Everett.
I forbid you to linger a moment longer.
And he's back.
Like a divine comet, dive from the outer reaches and spread light and understanding to the inner
Please.
worlds.
I'm not leaving.
And you were showing such promise.
So let's go ahead and get the lift moving, and we'll head up to that next security door and the Zen Garden area.
That would have been lost during the Great Dark Age.
Dark Age?
Much of humanity's record keeping would have been managed by Grace. So, when she went down 900 years ago, so did the ability to record what happened. The research that led me here was based on oral histories mostly, and some artifacts we uncovered on Earth and Mars. Relay devices that were once connected to Grace's network.
Then we share an interest in shedding light on this.
So we can take a left heading out of the lift, and we'll head up to that security door. And again, the security door in this section is opened by basically making an X symbol with the lights on the panel. So once you get over there on the far side, you're just going to light them up in the shape of an X.
I will illuminate the door leading to this transit system. Alas, I require your nimble fingers again.
Alright, what's the pattern?
Another easy one. The Phoenician letter Taw.
Who would know that?
I don't know. Perhaps an archaeologist? How about the Greek letter Chi?
Got it.
This is not the way to your ship.
Do you believe Grace could have done something to cause humans
So we'll
to
just
turn
continue on, and we're going to head to the next airlock, which is to the right as you come out here into this foyer area.
One of my theories, yes.
And you'll just go past the Jupiter model again and over to this airlock to open it up and get over to the Zen Garden.
Though the pad appears to be buried under meters of ice.
Is this an airlock?
Yes, the spire beyond this point can be pressurized. I assume your suit has limited oxygen?
I have about 5 hours left.
That's quite a risk you're taking. Were you assuming station life support could be restored?
Well, can it?
I believe so. But for reasons I'll never understand, life support is controlled by empathy processing. I suppose they had to give it something to do. I will enable that programming now.
Hello, Addie.
Hello. So you're going to get oxygen going?
The process has already begun, my friend. No rush. If you let me accompany you along the path ahead, I can balance the environment to your life force as we walk.
Oh, here we go.
Wow.
So there are just a couple of things that we do need to examine in the Zen Garden. The first one is this big lantern that we examined last time. We don't need to examine all the little objects to the left of it, though. We're just going to hit the lantern first.
A fitting starting point for those entering the structure, don't you think? Do you recognize any of the objects in this section of the garden? I'd love to know what you think of them. For the calibration process.
Is this a lantern?
An expression of our certainty in the flow of time.
How so?
A craftsman spent months carving this remarkable device based on the absolute certainty that after day, night would follow.
So we're just going to bypass all the other objects and then head straight over to the flowers.
I'm sorry. This cannot possibly be necessary.
Temperature preferences can vary considerably between individuals. Careful calibration is essential.
How about above freezing and we proceed?
It's really up to Addie. If you don't wish to consider more objects, I can set the temperature within a survivable range, and you can move on to the flower bed next to the stairs. Do you see them, Addie? Life in perfect stillness? The flowers define...
So let's just examine the purple flowers again.
...of space to arrive here.
I guess.
Which one are you?
Pardon me?
Which one of these blooms best embodies your spirit?
Seriously?
It's important I know these things in the balancing of illuminatory ergonomics.
Fancy words do not make this any less idiotic.
Go ahead, Addie.
I like this one.
A wonderful choice. You're driven by curiosity, a search for something...
And then the only other thing we need to do inside of this room is the pergola exercises again. So you'll have to go over to this and do those same exercises that we did last time. The only change to this is that for the first breath, you don't have to hold it for a really long time like we did for that wish achievement. So you can just do short breaths and release them immediately when she says that you can release them.
You can remove your helmet.
My helmet?
Of course. You can't sample the air I've prepared with it on.
And you're sure it's safe?
Your well-being is the most important thing, Addie. I'm certain it is safe.
Okay.
Now I want you to take a deep breath. A nice, deep breath. Hold it there.
So again, you don't have to hold this one for a really long time. Just release when she says release, and then do that same thing for the rest of them.
And when you're ready, another deep breath in. Deep as you can, Addie. Hold it. 3, 2, 1, and release. Very good, Addie. Feel all that built-up stress from your long journey here release into the ether.
Oh, please.
Shut out any negative energy and take in another life-nurturing breath. Fill those marvelous lungs. Hold it. 3, 2, 1, and release. Wonderful.
Even the station has a limited supply of oxygen.
Next, I want you to really open your body by reaching up toward the sky.
So we'll just tap A again to stretch.
Wonderful. How's that feel, Addie?
Kinda nice?
And we're almost done the calibration. For our last exercise, I will ask you to stand up.
Okay.
Now, once you're centered...
And then here's our balance practice coming up, which is really important now that I think about it. We had to do a lot of balancing and will have to do a lot of balancing in this playthrough, and especially in these second and third playthroughs that we're doing. There's going to be a lot of balancing coming up, and some of it's going to be a little bit trickier than it has been so far. So I'll let you know when we get to those trickier balance beams.
3, 2, 1, and that's 10 seconds. Excellent, Addie.
All right, so we're done in the Zen Garden, so we can head up the stairs now and then take a right and move on to the next airlock that's going to take us to the transit system.
I'll do my best to get the oxygen mix just right in the rest of the station. Just let me know if anything is not quite working for you.
You don't suspect Grace was shut down in a human conflict?
Maybe. Or you were abandoned over time.
So there's really not a lot different that we have to do here in transit. The main thing is we just don't have to investigate that extra welder's pack that got us the achievement, but other than that, pretty much everything's the same here.
You wouldn't build a system like this if you didn't need to move a lot of people, which...
So we'll start by examining the controls.
This must be the transit control room. Looks like people worked here. No power?
There is no current running to this console. Control will be required to reroute power.
And you defied my wishes to tell the solar system of my return.
I'm just looking for answers, boss.
I am the only answer.
Interesting. So Addie's calling him boss now.
Fine. Where's the electrical access for the room?
To the left of the rear door. But as I said, you will need control to reroute power to the console.
This era of electronics is dead simple. Won't hurt to take a look.
All right, so let's access the electrical panel here, and we'll just press on some of the buttons that are not working currently.
As I'd said,
I'm gonna have to look at the breakers.
Flip open the breakers and start flipping those in whatever random order you want to flip them. I just kept flipping the same one this time, and that seems to work fine.
I sense that there is joy in this work for Addie.
well, I can tell you there is no joy running to any of those breakers.
Sometimes a good whack will knock something into place.
It's worth a try.
Well, there's your problem right there. Someone's removed the entire power relay.
As I told you.
So why can't Control help us? Isn't he programmed to serve humans?
He's more accustomed to tasks.
So now we're just going to wait for PAL to be configured and to help us out here. And then we'll be able to access the electrical panel as well and flip all of those things on successfully.
I apparently offer wisdom to the wind.
You activated Control and Empathy.
For all the good that did us.
Is there another configuration we can call on?
Grace's core processors contain only these 3 systems.
Can you combine the systems? Take the edge off Control with a little empathy?
I suppose it's possible. But there's no telling what the outcome of something like that would be.
Could it be any worse than Control?
It can always be worse.
It sounds like a wonderful idea, Addie.
You're right. What do I know? Don't blame me if he turns out to be a murderer.
Addie?
Yep, it's me.
Great. What are we doing again?
We're powering up pods.
So, you want to hotwire this thing?
Yes, please.
All right. Rerouting is good to go. You can meet me at the breaker panel. Go ahead and flip the switches.
So all of the breaker switches should be working now.
Sure. We'll call you pal.
So let's flip all of these, and we're going to press all 5 of the buttons for the different systems.
Power's up. I'll let you do the honors.
Let's turn around and we'll use the controls again.
Here we go.
Oh, that's not good.
We're going to go out and head to the second welder's pack out here, and we're going to use this.
So important for you to ride in a pod.
I think the track is just jammed with ice.
Ice? You'd think I would be able to handle a little ice.
It's okay. Is there some kind of de-icing system or something?
I don't know.
There is not.
And I feel like this section coming up with the de-icing is pretty straightforward. You probably don't need to see me do that again. Just make sure that you get rid of all the ice on the track and just periodically let off of the right trigger like you did the first time so that you don't get blown around too much. But I'm going to go ahead and fast forward just a little bit through here and skip over this section. So feel free to pause the video if you want to, and I'll meet back up with you after you finish de-icing.
That's not going to cut it.
So after all the de-icing is done, we'll get out of the welder's pack here.
I like the part where we burn the
And we're going to go in and activate the controls for the pod one more time so that we can move on. So let's go ahead and get into the pod, and we'll move on to the next section.
So, where are we heading again?
I will be able to obtain structure schematics once we reach the next level.
You think we'll see any dead bodies?
Hope so.
So I'm assuming most everybody got the Clever Girl achievement during the first playthrough, where you have to make the backward Z. If you missed that, then here is another chance coming up just here in a second. We're going to go to that same security panel, and we're going to put in that backward Z again. And again, if you just don't make any mistakes at all, then you should get that Clever Girl achievement if you haven't gotten it already.
People could be alive in there?
You should really
And we're about to head into the apartment area again, and we'll do just a little bit of investigation there. Not nearly as much as we did the first time through.
It's not entirely impossible that someone's taken up here.
Or they could be zombies.
So here's that security panel with the Clever Girl achievement. So again, we're just going to make the backwards Z. You need to fill in the entire top line, the entire bottom line.
What's the pattern here?
It's the Latin zes.
Huh?
And I
You
thought
need to not make any mistakes at all.
very well. You might call it a backwards Z or Z. And you'll need to make it the full width and height of the panel. Just having PAL running in the background is making us all a little stupider. If we did switch PAL off, I could always switch him back if we need to burn something.
There.
So we'll move through the next airlock, and we're going to move into the apartment section.
I've been thinking about why anyone would want Grace to be shut down. And I wonder if there could have been a flaw in her base programming.
Like what?
Control and empathy programming divert valuable processing power away from cognitive ability.
Which way am I going?
The big colorful doors.
So we'll move on to the next security panel, but again, we're not going to be able to open this one. We just need to select it and pretend like we're going to use it.
Please stop.
The key to restoring Grace may be about understanding her potential flaws.
Are you going to tell me the pattern?
You think we're flaws?
Having a few flaws is perfectly all right.
Logic sounds jealous to me.
Jealous? Of what? You can't even open doors without me.
Where are you going with this?
We'll talk again once you can tell me who...
So we're not able to access the elevator area until we know who Everett is and have completed the Discover Everett section. So let's take a left here, and we're going to go through this alternate door, and the mom configuration is going to be created to help us get through this apartment section.
Should we create another hybrid? Logic and empathy?
Yeah. Like how you made me. I could give it a try.
Stop, stop, stop. You'll burn the place down. I will run a logic and empathy configuration as long as you promise never to allow PAL here to do any reconfiguring of our processing.
Deal.
I don't think that smart lady likes me very much.
Hello, Addie. Where do you want to start?
Can we start with the security door to the settlement elevator?
They are encrypted. It would take me days to work out the pattern.
Is there any other way into the settlement?
There is a room off to the side that does not have an encrypted entry. Perhaps we'll find something helpful there.
So let's use this
You can open this
keypad, and we'll move into the first apartment.
I can retrieve and play back for you. You will need to enter the sequence manually.
So this is the one with the map in it. So turn back around to the right, and we need to examine the map.
This must be the spire structure. It must be in this section here. Can you tell me where Grace's processors are located?
You would need to access the console, which is directly across from
And now we're going to examine just the console across from the map.
Is this the console?
And we'll need to hack this to get it working for us.
activity within the spire. Elements of the interface are missing. I'm not sure I can access it.
I think my comm device can be calibrated to connect.
And again, in the apartments, we're going to have a ton of things that we could be examining. We're not going to be examining everything. We're just going to be doing kind of the minimum that we need to do to progress through this section and to get our achievements that we need. So don't examine any unnecessary stuff. Just I'll highlight the things that we need to be examining. So we're just continuing to hack the console here.
Well done.
If a million people cycled through here, no one could have lived here that long.
A few weeks at most, by my estimates. Okay, I found record of an Everett who stayed.
And once we finish with the console, we'll turn back around to the map, and we'll examine that when we can.
So, Everett was a worker, or a colonist who lived here. Is that enough for you, Logic?
Hardly. It does nothing to explain why Grace would be calling to him.
So I'll need to find a way up to the 3rd floor.
Perhaps we can find one on the spire map.
So let's examine that map.
Grace processors are located at the top of the structure, as might be expected.
there is also a massive radio beacon.
The beacon is the key, Addie. You must go now to activate the beacon to call the masses back to the spire.
Just a few minutes ago, you wanted me to leave on my ship.
So Control wants us to activate the beacon, and that is exactly what we're going to do actually this time.
Okay. Can you get me to the beacon then? Control?
Control will not be able to override security.
Then we need to learn more about Everett.
Here's the room where Everett once stayed. Ooh, maybe we can see it from the balcony. Possibly, but I don't see a viable...
So once Pal mentions the balcony, we can go ahead and go out. We need to reach level 3, so let's climb the first trellis again. And we're just pretty much going to go straight to level 3. We don't need to examine much else to get up there.
I suppose.
I don't see many other options.
So we've got some more balance beam work coming up. So this is just going to be like the first playthrough where we examine the beam, we fall off, we climb the trellis again, and then we go across the second time after doing some balancing.
I've already fallen a few times from this height.
Careful, Addie. If you broke a leg, how would you get back to your ship?
You sound like my mom. Whoa.
Addie! Addie! Are you okay?
I'm fine, but you can't be yelling things while I'm trying to cross.
So, you're going to try again after that? You nearly broke your neck, Addie.
Yep, you're totally my mom.
Falling's kind of fun. It's like really short flying. Please, be careful. This is so cool.
So let's cross the beam the second time, and again you'll have to balance right here when you're about halfway across.
Yikes.
So just watch those hands and make sure that you stay nice and level, keep the hands level.
Very good. Now keep walking forward.
I can't watch.
I knew you could do it.
You should really try running across next time.
I'm hoping
So we're going to head into this apartment here, and we're not going to examine anything. We're just heading straight out the front door.
Maybe the rooms were for short work contracts.
2-week work contracts?
Or were people just visiting the spire?
We are going to bypass the first apartment on our left, and we're going to go into the second one by using the keypad.
I light up the pattern for you.
And we don't need to examine anything in this room either. We're just going to go outside onto the balcony and climb the next trellis so that we can get up to level 3. So in our first playthrough, we bypassed this shortcut beam. We're actually going to take this shortcut beam now. And this one is going to get us our first achievement in this second playthrough that we've been working on. So let's examine this beam.
It's a lot farther down. Are you sure?
And we're going to cross it. This is going to be the first tricky balancing act. So the sort of wobbles that she does are going to be a little more extreme here. So just focus on your screen and watch those hands and try to keep them as centered as you can.
You got this.
I'm trying.
And then we'll be able to press on, and then there's going to be a second wobble this time. It's not going to last for as long, but it's still a little bit extreme.
Oh boy.
Easy, Addie. Concentrate on your breathing. You're in control.
All right, so after that second wobble, then we can go ahead and move on. And you should get the Get Busy Living or Get Busy Dying achievement right here, which is a reference to the movie Shawshank Redemption. You know what? If you have time, just go and watch all of these movies. If there are any of them that you haven't seen before, you should definitely go check out these movies. Just my opinion, but almost all of these are great. Lots of classics. All right, let's take the stairs to the left, and we're going to go into this first apartment that we come to by using the keypad.
I'm sorry I don't handle the beams very well.
Well, it shows you care, I guess. There we go.
And we're going to go in here, and we do need to examine a few canisters this time. We're not going to do nearly as many as we did on the first playthrough, but we're going to examine these 2 canisters that are in this room, and we will be examining a total of 8 of them in this playthrough. So not the 19 that we did the first time, but we're gonna go through 8 of them.
Through your wrist communicator with the aid of a signal amplifier. But that would only be possible by adding an element of control.
So we're going to get the Jack personality like we did last time, and he will help us to hack the canisters so we can listen to a few of the wishes.
Well, it's the only combination left. May as well, Mom.
All right. Here we go.
Hello?
Maybe he's sleeping.
So you require a tool upgrade.
It's a boy.
We were hoping you could set up my comm device to help play back recordings.
Already done. Just hold your device up to the canister. You will be able to access the recording the same way you've been connecting to other systems.
Okay.
Hello, Grace. I've thought much about what I'd say when I got here. I know it's important for my parents that I make my wish count. So, I guess I wish for them to be proud of me. Thank you, Grace.
People came here to make wishes?
For Grace to grant?
I'm unclear how she would go about granting the wishes of so many visitors.
And make sure you hack the second canister here in this room too.
Hey, Grace. I really don't know why you would choose me. I guess no one really knows why they're called to the spire, but I'm greatly honored. At my age, I thought
That's all I can recover from this one.
It sounds like Grace chose who came here.
So let's go ahead and head outside, and we're going to move on to the next apartment, just heading to the left and up the stairs.
We call the new config.
I do not require a name.
Now, as you get to this keypad, you may remember the first time we avoided having Jack help us with any of the keypads, but you can go ahead and do that now. So he'll offer to help after Mom plays the sequence. You can just press B to let Jack hack it for you. And we're going to be doing that on the rest of these keypads that we open. So just select it, press B, and Jack will open it for you. So another little shortcut we're taking advantage of on this second playthrough. We're going to examine 3 canisters in here. There are 2 in the room, and then there's a third one in the bathroom. So you'll have to turn on your headlamp to light up and see the third one that's in the bathroom. So make sure you get canisters 3, 4, and 5 in this apartment.
my wish? Oh, I'll tell you my wish. 10 years ago, we're on Venus at the Big Dome. Huge crowd. Olympia Mons favored 4-1, loses 5-1. 6 years ago, on Earth against South Union, loses 2-1. 2 years ago, South Union again, this time up north. I took the boys 3 months round trip. They go 90 minutes, no score. Extra time, no score. South Union takes it again in penalties. You want my wish, Gracie? The next World Cup is on Mars. I wish that Olympia faces South Union again and destroys them, like Space Me Out the Airlock humiliated. That would be a game. That's my wish. So how do I end this?
Olympia's still a crap team.
Perhaps Grace was rendered inactive by football hooligans.
Grace likely fostered sports as an alternative outlet for uncontrolled aggression. Of course people would come to her to share their passions.
Doc Anthony Wong, and I was called to Grace from our station Phoenix. Not sure if anyone will hear this, but the whole tube system is shut down right now. People are not happy, and I'm getting a little scared, to be honest. I'll be locking myself in until the shuttle returns, and I'm leaving this in case something really bad happens.
That's a little ominous.
So again, don't forget number 5 that is right here inside of the bathroom.
Doc Anthony here. Been moving around, keeping my head down. Won't be long before they start blaming us for schmutzing up the tubes.
So let's head out of this apartment now, and we'll go up the stairs to the left. We're going to get wish number 6 that is inside of the planter to our left. So make sure to hack this canister, and that'll be number 6 out of 8 that we need for this playthrough.
So we could call you Jack.
What do you think of that, Jack?
I will answer to Jack then, if you like.
Doc Anthony again. Things are getting crazy. Not sure which way this has been a break, but found a quiet place to hang out while this thing blows over. Again, leaving this in case something goes sideways.
All right, let's head into the next apartment. And again, you can use Jack to hack this one for you. So after Mom plays the sequence, just press B, and he'll fix it for you.
Of course.
Let's head inside, and we need to listen to these last 2 that are sitting on the bed here. So these will be numbers 7 and 8, and those are all the ones that we need to find for this playthrough.
Here, Grace. Najisha, she was so excited when I got the summons. We talked about this for months, who we could help, who was most deserving. She honestly believed we could come up with a wish that could make everything perfect. Thank you for choosing me. And thank you for letting me delay coming here. I want to be true to her memory, her wishes, her unlimited love for humanity. But my only wish, the only thought I have, is to have her back. I want her back.
There couldn't have actually been anything Grace could have done for her.
Grace allowed her to voice her grief.
Hey, the tube system is no longer accepting wishes. If anyone knows how to reach Keeper Everett, please let him know.
Keeper Everett.
It sounds like Keepers was
All right, so that 8th one gives us the information that we need about Everett.
2955.
And now we can go ahead and start working our way down to the elevator, because we're going to get access to that in a second. And I started to turn left here, but if you make a right, that's a better way to get down to the elevator.
From what I can tell,
So follow over here to the right, and we just need to start going down some stairs to get down there. I took a left here.
But do you know what a keeper is?
We'll need access to the elevator to learn more.
Ah, a classic
And
paradox.
then right
Logic.
down on these
If
stairs.
you're done snooping around, I will grant you access to the
So
elevator.
let's go to the security panel, and this is the one where you just light up the corners. So let's do that here, and that'll get us to the elevator.
Priority. You must move on.
You're looking pretty smug.
What's the pattern?
Another easy one. Light the 4 corners of the pad. You really didn't need my help for this one. It would be a common pattern when guessing symbols.
I have to give you something to do, right?
So let's go in and call the elevator, and then we will ride the elevator up. We're going to be heading up to the church section again, and we're going to be skipping over all of that pretty much. We're just going to be moving through that area as directly as we can without examining really anything.
You mean the game where you refused to help us?
I provided you with the opportunity to prove yourself. Is that not why you're here?
I'm an archaeologist. I'm here to do my job.
I don't think Addie enjoys having obstacles placed in the way of her goals.
We have arrived at our destination.
So since we're not going to be doing any examination inside of the church, we've already done all of that previously, we're just going to be going ahead and climbing the debris pile on the right side to move up into the next area.
Flock and shepherd will be reunited.
Must be some sort of pulpit.
So let's head over here towards the debris pile, and we're going to climb it like we did last time. So it has 3 separate little sections of climbing. Move over to the right and climb this section. And then we'll climb over the little blanket here. Again, you don't need to examine anything once you get up here. We're just going to move back to the little passageway back here. And I like to turn on my headlamp for this section, so press Y if you want to do that. And then we're going to squeeze through this first gap. Don't need to examine anything here either, so let's move under the crawl space here.
Do we know where this goes?
We'll move on into the airlock next to the funicular, and we're going to open that up.
The room beyond the airlock is uncompressed. I don't believe it can be sealed. Something must have been compromised. You'll want your helmet on.
The tracks ahead lead to the highest point of the
So I'm assuming everybody made the slot in Save 3 previously. If you didn't, you should do that here in just a minute as soon as we get the next checkpoint. But I'm assuming everybody has their saves set up, and you've all been following along and following directions on making the saves. So hopefully you should be in good shape, because we are going to be using that 3rd slot save in just a few minutes after we finish this second partial playthrough.
Which only I can do.
Great.
On one condition.
And what's that?
You shall have no others before me. Cast aside that device on your wrist and continue with me alone.
Whoa, hang on.
All right, so for now we are continuing to follow all of Control's directions here. So we are going to do exactly what he said and cast aside our wristwatch. And then we're only going to hear his voice from then on. No other AI personalities.
Yep, I got it. You're everywhere.
What if she needs another configuration for something?
She will not.
Is there another way to get to the top?
Of course. The funicular is merely the most survivable option.
Throw the device from the funicular window to take your place at my side.
So there's that checkpoint. So we're going to examine the broken window.
You'll take me to the top.
It will be done.
There must be other options, Addie.
The emergency exit.
And then we're going to turn back and examine the airlock hatch back here, but we're not going to use that one. We're following Control's directions this time, so turn back to the broken window, and we're going to toss our device out the window.
Follow the funicular track up the mountain slope to the base of the lighthouse structure.
It would be dangerous.
So I give up my options by throwing away my comm, or take my chances in the storm.
It's an important decision, to be sure.
So go ahead and toss it out the window.
I'm going to trust you on this, Control.
It's probably the safest way forward.
Please don't leave us.
A little bit sad there, but oh well, we got to get our achievements, right? So you should get the Wilson achievement right there, which is a rare achievement for casting away the device. And Wilson is a reference to the movie Cast Away, which is definitely one of my favorites. I love Tom Hanks movies. Joe versus the Volcano is awesome too, if you haven't seen that one.
And others will follow. Humans will always follow. You walk with me alone.
All right, so we've got one more achievement to get in this second playthrough, and we will get that with Control coming up.
You will not.
So we don't need empathy to set up oxygen?
The path forward has already been...
We just need to activate that beacon that I mentioned earlier, and that Control has been insisting that we activate. So we're going to go do that and get our third achievement from doing that.
Forward. What does it matter?
I suppose it doesn't.
So we've just got to get inside of the Keeper room again. So walk towards the doorway back here. Don't need to investigate any of those rooms behind us. We just need to get through the door.
Can you open it?
You need only know that it must open.
So we'll examine the relief on the left-hand side again, and all of the same objects that we examined last time.
No hidden switches or anything.
Let's examine the humans at the bottom.
This would be the pilgrims coming to Grace.
And then the triangle in the middle.
The triangle here must be the spire, which...
And then the figure at the very top.
This is the same symbol that's on the
And then the ring just below the
So
figure.
I assume it represents the keeper. This ring here seems to connect the keeper to Grace.
And that's
Curious
everything
if there's
on
such a
this
thing about
relief.
Grace.
Coincidence.
The human in the loop, I guess?
We'll spin around and go over to the relief that was on the right side. Let's inspect that.
Nothing here either.
And we'll examine the human at the
Looks like
bottom
someone's
that's
being
being selected as the keeper.
I'm guessing it's the keeper.
And then we'll examine the writing at the upper
Faithful,
left.
Vigilant, willing. I think it's the ancient tenets of the human in the loop. Grace's architects must have been more fearful of losing control over AIs than we are today because they gave them so much responsibility. I mean, it makes sense. Grace was the greatest AI undertaking in human history.
So now let's look at the keeper door, and we're going to examine this, and we are going to accept the mantle of responsibility here and become the keeper again.
Was the key. Maybe the door would open for him.
In walking with me alone, you have proven to be virtuous and faithful enough.
But not willing.
Are you?
Do I wish to be the new keeper?
Do you?
I wish to be the new keeper. Can't believe that worked. My God.
All right, and then we've got one more thing to do in here to activate the beacon.
There is a button that will activate the beacon.
So Control is going to open this button up and give us access to it. So we're going to need to examine it quite a few times, but after we do that and activate it, then we will get our third achievement here, which is called It Is Your Destiny, which is a Star Wars reference. Sort of a Darth Vader moment here.
I'm here to find Grace. I need to figure out a way to bring her back. There must be something else on this console.
So we're just going to keep pressing A and examining the beacon button here. The game gives us lots of chances to avoid getting the bad ending here, but you want to just keep pressing this button because this one does lead to one of our achievements that we need.
The same way it always has.
Which is...
The way Grace intended.
So after a minute or so, we get the actual button pressed here, and the beacons are raised.
Together, as it was meant to be.
So what now? Is there a keeper's manual or something?
So you get another decent view of Jupiter from here out the window, and then you'll see the different beacon poles with the lights on top start to get raised around the tower.
What's keeping them from turning on you again?
Humans have wandered long enough. You have traveled millions of miles at great personal risk to find me. You, Addie, are proof that they are ready to return.
So there's another one of those rare achievements. It is your destiny. So there's no need to watch the credits here, so if you want to, you can just hit the menu button and quit to the main menu, and we're done with our second playthrough. So let's go ahead and do the third partial playthrough here. This one will take just a few minutes. So let's go ahead and start our game, and we're going to select slot 3, which is at the temple area. So we're back here in the funicular again. We want to go ahead and go back to the hatch, and we're going to go outside again. We've got 3 more achievements that we can get on this outside track.
He's being dramatic. Your death is only marginally likely.
In theory, you could follow the funicular track up the mountain slope to the base of the lighthouse structure.
So we're going to have to do some more beam walking along an icy beam. We'll have to do a little bit of hiking out in the snow, and we're going to climb some ladders. We're going to throw some ice rocks at stuff, and yeah, it'll take just a few minutes to get these other achievements. So we're just going to tap the A button as usual to get this door open.
You and your ilk were distracting Addie from her true purpose.
We are providing Addie with a variety of perspectives.
And then we will press A to enter the storm again.
I'm keeping my comm device.
You may not live to regret this.
So we're going to take some alternate paths from what we did in our first playthrough when we went outside.
Hello? Must be interference from the storm.
Addie,
Alan?
where are you?
So in our first playthrough, we got a little bit closer to Mom, and we got the achievement for talking to her and telling her our secret about our past. So we don't need to do that. We can take some shortcuts this time.
Past Mars.
Wait, did you say Grace is still active?
Not exactly, but
So we're just going to stand here next to this icy beam this time, and this is the path that we're going to take. This is going to be another really wobbly one, so, you know, be prepared to do your balancing, to focus on the screen, and keep yourself from falling down here. There are going to be 2 wobbly points here where you have to regain your balance.
There is also a path that descends into the canyon. It looks well worn and preserved over time. Which means it's
This
likely
should be our
sheltered.
last balance beam in the game, though, so we've got that to look forward to, at least.
and more fun.
Don't tease, Addie. The walk will give you time to think. And perhaps a chance for us to talk.
So let's press A to go ahead and start crossing the beam here.
It's the fastest way to the other side.
Or to the bottom of the canyon. I'm with you, Addie.
Slow and steady. Don't forget to breathe.
And here comes our first wobbly spot. So watch your hands and keep your hands balanced.
That's it.
We'll step forward again, and then we've got one more wobble spot coming up here.
In through your nose. Out through your mouth.
And that is the last one, so let's move on to the end now. And we're going to get our first of 3 achievements in this third playthrough.
Sure, this was the smartest choice.
Nonsense.
So we should get the achievement here for Death is But the Next Great Adventure, which is a quote from Dumbledore in the Harry Potter series.
Humans can say they've climbed across a train track bridge thingy in a lunar ice storm. You only live once, right?
Not sure that applies to you.
And we'll go ahead and climb this ladder.
But who knows what's going to happen at the end of all this? We gotta enjoy
And then
what
we're going to
we
take a very risky jump coming up, and that's going to get us another achievement. So you're going to turn to the right here after you get to the top of the ladder and swing back around, and you'll see this big gap back here. So let's examine this, and then we're going to jump across this. And Addie's not actually going to make it. She's going to fall and hurt herself a little bit. It almost seems like she's going to die to me in every playthrough I've done of this, but she doesn't actually break anything. Apparently she just breaks her helmet light, so it kind of seems like she's broken her back or something. I don't know. It seems like something catastrophic's happened, but I guess she's okay. I guess her suit protects her better than maybe I thought it did. So let's go ahead and jump across.
Yes.
No.
You okay? I think I heard something break.
So we'll get the 'Tis But a Scratch achievement right there, which is a reference to Monty Python.
Just winded, I think.
I'm so sorry, Addie.
Must be a pretty tough suit, right?
Sorry to disappoint.
Your vitals are still good. Can you stand?
Yeah, just give me a second.
Addie.
All right, so we got one achievement left in the game. Let's go grab it. So let's climb this ice wall over here.
Are you okay?
And then if you turn to the left here, you'll have another climbing spot. And turn to the left again, and there's a third spot to climb, so let's do that. So we have effectively crossed the canyon now. So this path to the right will look familiar. We did this on our first playthrough. So we're going to go up to where that override switch is, where we climbed the ladder in our first playthrough. But this time we're going to actually not climb the ladder, and we're not going to use the override. But we are going to get the ladder to at least come down in a different way. So keep following the path here till you get to the ladder. Again, we're not going to use the override. There are some different latches that are blocking the ladder from coming down. So we're going to go up above and manually get rid of those latches and unlock them. And this path is a little clunky. It's a little hard to get up. I kept getting caught on the ice as I moved up. So just kind of move around if you get stuck somewhere, and you should be able to make it all the way up here to this dead end. So when she says it's a dead end, turn around, look at the ladder, and there's this ice pile that's right here. So you'll see these two little latches, these two little things that stick up right here. We need to knock those off, or knock them down, I guess I should say. So we're going to press A to throw some ice, and you want to throw a little bit higher than this, up to about where that next big circular rung is. And then you'll be able to hit the latch. You see how that one fell down? And then we're going to try to hit this one. And it can take you a couple of throws, but just try to throw a little bit higher than you might expect. And you should be able to get this one. So I'm still throwing a little bit too high. There we go. So once they both fall down and you see the ladder slide down, then we're done in this section. There are two more latches a little bit further down. So let's head down to the next ice pile, which is on the right. And we're going to throw some more ice. And we need to hit these two latches for our last achievement. There's the first one on the left. Throw a little bit high until it falls down. And then same thing for the one on the right. So after you do that, then you should get the I used to bullseye womp rats in my T16 achievement, which is another Star Wars reference. Something Luke said. So that is actually our last achievement in this game. So you should have them all now. So if we go to the achievement tracker, we've got 35 out of 35 and 1,000 gamer score for the game. So that is pretty much it for Return to Grace. I hope you all enjoyed that game as much as I did. I think it had some good, easy achievements. I'm sorry we didn't get to spread it out over months and months for a bunch of rewards points like I was hoping to do. But like I said in my retirement video, I thought it was important to go ahead and finish it out since we had kind of started the story and started working on the achievements for it. I wanted to go ahead and finish it out for you all. So, like I said in my retirement video, I think this is probably going to be one of my last guides. There are no longer any achievements that are needed for earning rewards points, and that was kind of the whole point of the Rewards Hunter channel. Again, if you haven't watched that retirement video, I'll link to that here and in the description so you can watch that and find out more about what happened and what happened with the quests and the rewards punch cards over time. Anyway, thank you all for traveling through this game and any of the other games that you may have traveled through with me in the past. I do have all of my full game guides listed on the homepage of the Rewards Hunter channel, so if you're still looking for more content, maybe I've created some guides in the past for some games that maybe you haven't played, like Full Throttle or Wander Song or Tracks the Train Set game. I've got a lot of full game guides that are listed there. Not all of the games are still on Game Pass anymore, but you could definitely purchase them and travel through some of those with me that I have gone through over the last few years. Anyway, I appreciate your time. I appreciate all the time everybody has put into watching these guides that I've made over the last few years. It's been a lot of fun for me. Thank you for everybody that has helped to support the Rewards Hunter channel. Your support has meant so much to me and to my family, and we really appreciate it. And I hope all the best for you in the future. If you want to stay connected with me, I've got all of my links to social channels in the description, so you can follow me on there and we can chat on Xbox. Anyway, take care, and I wish you all the best in the future.